The Magic Door. A boy standing in front of a green door in a forest. With a green door and a green door. Fantasy art. A storybook illustration. Aaron Jasinski. Ghibli. In a small town lived a curious little boy named Ayan. He had a thirst for adventure and a heart full of courage. One day, while playing in his backyard, he stumbled upon a peculiar door nestled between two large trees. A boy is standing in front of a door with a sun on it, and a door handle in the background. Space art. A comic book panel. Chris LeBroy. Comic cover art. The door was painted in vibrant colors and was adorned with symbols that Ayan didn't recognize. As Ayan laid his hand on the door, a warm sensation tingled in his fingertips. He pushed the door open and stepped into a world unlike any other. A boy standing in a forest with a stream of water in front of him, and a forest with flowers. Fantasy art. A storybook illustration. Cliff Childs. Official art. This was a magical world, where the trees glowed with luminescent flowers and the water sparkled under the ever-bright sun. Ayan was filled with awe and excitement. He knew he had found something extraordinary. A cartoon blue dragon with a backpack on a desert landscape, with mountains in the background and a purple sky. Sots art. A character portrait. Chris LeBroy. Game art. Soon, Ayan spotted a group of strange creatures approaching him. They were friendly and introduced themselves as Helmet, Chip, and Suga. They welcomed Azul to their world and quickly became his friends. A boy standing in front of a doorway with butterflies flying around him. Illustration by Alex Krautke. Magical realism. A storybook illustration. Cliff Childs. Promotional image. Every day, Ayan would visit his friends. He would step through the magical door and embark on new adventures. They explored caves, flew with the butterflies, and even swam with the glowing fish. A boy and a girl in a forest with a helmet on their heads and a backpack on their shoulders. Sots art. Concept art. Cliff Childs. Official art. Helmet taught Ayan how to navigate the forests, while Chip showed him how to crack open the sweetest nuts. Suga, with her infectious laughter, lightened the mood, even in the darkest caves. A boy is running through a forest with a backpack on his back and a backpack on his shoulder. Sots. Art. A character portrait. Cliff Childs. Official art. One day, while playing hide and seek, Azul got lost in the dense forest. He panicked, but remembered the skills Helmet had taught him. He used them to find his way back to his friends. A boy climbing a tree in a forest with a backpack on his back and a backpack on his shoulder. Process art. A storybook illustration. Diego Gisbert Lorenz. Comic cover art. On another day, a gust of wind swept Ayan off his feet, and he got stuck in a high tree. Chip, with his tall and skinny figure, climbed up and helped Ayan back down. A boy with a helmet, walking through a forest with birds on the ground, and a bird on his back. Alter Modern. A character portrait. Chris LeBroy. Key art. In this magical world, Ayan never felt alone or afraid. He knew his friends were always there for him. They faced every adventure together, and every day was a new thrill. A boy with a helmet walking with other animals in the jungle, with a bird on his shoulder and a bird on his shoulder. Sots art. Poster art. Cliff Childs. Promotional image. But what fascinated Ayan the most about this world was that no one aged. He always remained the same 10-year-old boy, full of energy and life. His friends, too, never aged a day. A boy and two boys are standing in the forest with birds and birds around him, and a bird is on the ground. Lyco art. A storybook illustration. Diego Gisbert Lorenz. Promotional image. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. Azul spent endless days of joy and laughter with his friends, learning, exploring, and growing in this timeless world. A boy standing in front of a group of monsters, and a boy with a backpack on his shoulder, and a boy with a backpack on his shoulder. Sots art. A storybook illustration. Adam Rex. Key art. One day, Ayan realized that even though he was not aging in the magical world, he was growing up in his heart. He was learning to be brave, kind, and a true friend. A boy with a blue hat, surrounded by animals and birds, in a forest with a forest background that has a boy in a blue hat and a bunch of blue animals. Furry art. Poster art. Diego Gisbert Lorenz. Promotional image. Ayan understood that even though he loved this magical world, he had to return to his own. He wished to share his experiences and the lessons he learned with others in his town. A boy standing in front of a bluebird in a forest with a big owl behind him and a bluebird in front of him. Furry art, a storybook illustration, Chris LeBroy, promotional image. With a heavy heart, Ayan bid farewell to his friends. They shared a group hug and promised to remember each other, always. Ayan then stepped through the magic door, back into his own world. A boy is walking with a group of children in a city street with buildings and a sun in the background. Samik Shavad, a storybook illustration. Brothers Hildebrandt, official art. Ayan never forgot his friends and the adventures they had. He often shared his stories with other children in his town, teaching them about courage, friendship, and the magic that lay within all of us. A boy with a backpack is walking down a street with a backpack on his back and a smile on his face. Paris School, a comic book panel, Cliff Childs, Rostraw's global illumination. And though Ayan grew older in his world, he remained forever young in his heart. Just like in the magical world, he carried the spirit of adventure and the lessons learned with him always. A boy standing in front of a door with a backpack on his back and a backpack on his shoulder. Photorealism, a storybook illustration, Diego Gisbert Lorenz, Rostros Global Illuminación. Ayan's tale became a legend in his town. The magical door vanished, but its memory remained, echoing the laughter, adventures, and timeless friendships that a brave little boy named Ayan had experienced. A man sitting on a rock under a tree in a forest with sun shining through the trees behind him. Fantasy art, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, Rostraw's global illumination. Ayan, now an old man, often sat under the same two large trees, smiling at the place where the magical door once stood. His heart filled with joy, knowing he had lived not one, but two beautiful lives. A boy standing in a doorway with a backpack on his back and a backpack on his shoulder, in front of a brick wall, serial art, a comic book panel, Diego Gisbert Lorenz, comic cover, art. And even though the magical door was no longer there, Ayan knew that the real magic was not in the door or the world it led to, but in the friendships he made, the adventures he had, and the lessons he learned. A boy with a backpack walking through a forest with flowers on the ground and a trail in the background. Samik Shavad, a character portrait, Eddie Mendoza, promotional image. Ayan's story reminds us all that magic exists in every corner of our lives, in every friend we make, every adventure we undertake, and every lesson we learn. The magic is always there, waiting to be discovered. A boy standing in a doorway with butterflies flying around him and a butterfly flying above him in the background. Magical realism, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, Yukitu Kishiru. It's never about growing old, but about growing up. It's about carrying the spirit of adventure within us, just like Ayan did. And who knows, maybe one day, we'll stumble upon our own magical door. A boy standing in front of a doorway in a forest with trees and leaves on the ground, and a door leading to another room, dull all set, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, Ghibli. And if you ever find yourself under two large trees, look closely. You might just find traces of a vibrant door. If you do, remember Azul's story and step into your own adventure. A boy walking through a forest with butterflies flying around him, and a waterfall in the background with a waterfall in the middle. Magical realism, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, official art. Let Ayan's tale inspire you to seek out your own magical world, to make wonderful friends, to be brave, to be kind, and to remain forever young at heart. Let his story remind you that magic is real, and it's everywhere. A boy is standing on a path in the mountains with hot air balloons flying above him, and a hot air balloon in the sky. Magical realism, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, official art. So, go ahead, seek your own adventures, make your own friends, learn your own lessons, and always remember, no matter where you go or how old you become, carry the magic in your heart, just like Ayan did. A boy standing in front of a mountain with a dog and a bird flying over him, and a river, fantasy art, a storybook illustration, Chris LeBroy, Rostraw's global illumination. Just like Ayan, you too can live a life full of adventures and timeless friendships. you too can grow up without growing old. You too can discover the magic within you and share it with the world. A boy with a backpack walking through a forest, with a bird flying above him and a blue bird flying above him. Fantasy art, a storybook illustration, Cliff Childs, comic cover art. Ion's story is a story of magic, adventure, and timeless friendships. It's a story of a boy who grew up but never grew old. It's a story that reminds us to seek our own magic and share it with the world. Two children running through a forest with trees and leaves on the ground. One of them is holding his hand out. Environmental art, poster art, Brothers Hildebrandt, official art. And so, Ion's tale lives on, in the hearts of those who heard it, in the laughter of children playing under the two large trees, and in the magic that exists everywhere, waiting to be found. A group of children walking down a path in a forest with a waterfall in the background, and flowers all around. Samikshavad, poster art, Disney, promotional image. As Ion discovered, the real magic lies not in staying forever young, but in growing up, in learning, in exploring, in making friends, and most importantly, in cherishing the magic of life's adventures. A boy with a backpack standing on a rock in front of a mountain landscape with a river and mountains. Lyco art, poster art, Cliff Childs, promotional image. Ion's magical world might have been different, but the magic he found there was the same magic that exists in our world. It's the magic of friendship, courage, and the spirit of adventure. A boy standing on a path in a field with flowers and mountains in the background, with a sun setting, Doel set, a detailed matte painting, Cliff Childs, official art. And so, Ion's tale ends, but his story lives on, reminding us all to seek our own magic, to grow up without growing old, and to cherish the magic of life's adventures, just as Ayan did.